Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Digital Desk and welcome to Inside the Newsroom. I'm Maddie Paul. Inside the Newsroom, we're going to bring you the trending stories of the KELOLAND area. And my favorite part is we bring in our newsroom staff members to talk about the stories that you see every day on our newscasts and online at KELOLAND.com. And to start off with one of our trending stories, we actually had team coverage yesterday about the impact of the federal government shutdown. Now, the South Dakota Department of Justice's transportation, agriculture, and more are affected by the shutdown. In fact, our digital reporter, Gracie Terrell, tried calling the South Dakota offices yesterday to see if any of the agencies were still working. Most of them did not answer or had a voicemail set up saying that they furloughed and not authorized to work at this time. If you'd like to see more about Gracie's story, just go ahead and head to KELOLAND.com and search for government shutdown impacting agencies in South Dakota to read more. But looking deeper into the local impact, Kelly Vogt looks at what it means for food charities if this shutdown continues.
As lawmakers debate a short-term funding bill in the nation's capital, the impact of the government shutdown is being felt in KELOLAND. The Faith Temple food giveaway has seen an increase in people reaching out about its program.
We recently received an email from a gal. She said she's 25 and is currently furloughed due to the government shutdown. She's a federal worker, and she's trying to make ends meet.
Josh Hayes, with the food giveaway, is expecting more people at future giveaways if the shutdown stretches on. Stacy Andernacht with Feeding South Dakota says the nonprofit isn't seeing immediate impacts from the shutdown, but they could be on the way if the situation isn't resolved.
One would be an increase in need from federal workers who are having missed or no paychecks as the shutdown goes on.
Today, the White House press secretary said WIC, a nutrition program for low-income families, could run out of federal money very soon. SNAP recipients are receiving their October benefits. As the shutdown continues, Feeding South Dakota will monitor the number of families using its services on a more frequent basis to stay on top of the need.
We'll do our best to get food out as quickly as we can, and if not through our programs, but to our partners, so to the food banks and the hot meal sites that are in a variety of communities. We want to be able to support them and make sure they have food for people who are coming for the first time as well.
Hard thing is there's no end date on this. We don't know if this could end within the next couple hours or days, or if it could last weeks or even months.
And Kelly Vogt joins us now at the Digital Desk to talk more about her story and her angle. Kelly, you know, this was a team coverage that we had yesterday at the 6 o'clock newscast, looking at Rapid City to here and all across the state with concerns about the federal shutdown. So why was your angle focused on food charities?
Well, it's an important part of life here in KELOLAND. It helps many people. There is food insecurity, so I think when people see that the government is shutting down, they want to know how they'll be impacted. So this is one way to talk about the impact.
And as you're saying, everyday life changing because of something that's happening on a federal level now, localizing it here. And, despite the uncertainty of the shutdown, it sounds like there was actually a lot of optimism from the people that you interviewed. That kind of surprised me. Did that surprise you? Or was there anything else that kind of stood out during those interviews that you had?
It didn't surprise me. I've interviewed both of these people before, and I've covered their agencies a lot, and they are often optimistic, and they are those agencies that people turn to when they need help. So I think they want to be optimistic, and they want to let people know that they are available to help, and they're going to help people throughout this uncertain time.
Thank you for that. And is there anything else that you hope that viewers take away from this story?
Well, one thing that Josh Hayes mentioned is that there's no stigma with receiving food assistance. And if someone's never had to do this before or they're unfamiliar with the process, he just wants to let them know that there's nothing wrong with needing help, and they're there to let you know how it works if you need their services.
Thank you so much for coming to the digital desk, Kelly, and giving us all this information. And still to come, we have lots of trending stories to get to for Inside the Newsroom. In fact, we're looking next at a South Dakota gymnast who has a goal for the Olympics. Stay with us. Inside the Newsroom will come back right after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. It may be 3 years until the next Summer Olympics, but one South Dakota native already has her sights set on the event. Summer Roddershot introduces us to the high schooler who is making her mark on the gymnastics community.
Gabrielle Hardy got her first taste of gymnastics when she was 5 and a friend invited her to class. She's been going back ever since.
I was an 8-year-old level 8, and then I went 9-year-old level 9, 10-year-old level 10. And then from there, I made junior elite when I was 12 years old.
After 2 years on the junior national team, Gabrielle kept climbing.
The U.S. Championships is a 2-day competition, and that you have to qualify to get there. And there's usually about 20 to 25 girls, and those are like the best gymnasts in the U.S. are at championships. And then they take top eight girls are national team. So this year I got 7th.
We have 7 kids, and they've all been involved in sports, and just support her and watch her grow and get better as time goes on. So to think that she was going to be a very high level, we never really thought of that. It was just more of a natural progression.
Competitions have brought Gabrielle around the globe. They've also allowed her to train alongside some of the world's best gymnasts, including Simone Biles.
I went to a national team camp with her, so I got to train with her for like 4 days. And just to look over and then see her doing her double pike on vault, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Now she has her sights set on following in Biles' footsteps.
I'll be eligible for 2028. Yeah, it's my main goal, is my dream, 2028. And if that doesn't happen, I think I would like to go for 2032.
She handles it with dignity in class, but just those life experiences and just being able to tackle and sometimes face adversity and kind of overcome it and just keep getting better and building on that it's been very fun to watch.
And Summer Roddershot joins us now at the digital desk to talk more about this really exciting story. Summer, how did you find this story and what drew you into covering it?
I think I had some people telling me about it. They're like, hey, this gymnast, so she's originally from South Dakota, but they'd moved away, but they'd come back to Sioux Falls. And they're like, hey, this gymnast, she's back in town, and she's doing like really good. And I'm like, well, how good is really good? Because, we talk to a lot of athletes, and there's a lot of great athletes around here. So I'm like, how good is, and I was like, oh, you mean like Team USA really good. And so and actually it was funny. I slid into her DMs because I was like, I didn't know how to contact her, but I saw her Instagram. And so I'm like, hey, when you're in Sioux Falls next, do you maybe want to do a story with me? And she was like, yeah. And so we got it all arranged. I got to talk to her mom. And so, yeah, it was sort of fun seeing how it came together. And it was something I wanted to do for months. And then the opportunity finally presented itself.
It's so interesting that you reached out through social media because I feel like most of our viewers think that we just do like emails, calls, or we have everything like pre-set up for us or something like that. But nope, something as simple as just looking up someone's social media can help us do a story, or again, just like out on the street. Just so interesting to think about.
Do you know how many people I've reached out to through like Facebook, and I'm like, hey, I saw what you posted, and that's sort of cool. Do you want to do a story with me? It's more than you think.
Facebook is a saving grace. That's what I found when I report. But I just loved the support that came from the story. Like, you got to talk not only to her, but her dad too. And just like that support was just like really fun. But this was another story, Summer, where you do not talk at all. You just let them do all of the talking. So why do that for this particular story?
I'll be honest, some of the things were hard for me I didn't want to get the wording wrong. So, sometimes she's talking about these different teams that she's on and everything. And I'm like, it's best that you're saying that, because if I try to say it and miss a word, then it's wrong,
Oh, okay.
But then also, like I think I've said before, but just letting her tell her story. I'm not the gymnast. I did a cartwheel today, but that was about the extent. That's as far as my gymnastic skills go. So letting her, and I always love when I can talk to a family member on a story like this, because you just know her dad is beaming, so proud of her. And I'm like, I'd rather hear from him than somebody being like, her dad is proud of her. I'd rather hear from the dad saying how proud he is of his daughter.
Totally. And like you can see it like in that interview, just like in his eyes and everything. I just love moments like that. So good job. I love that you do that. And she had such a great personality too. And she like naturally carries that story. Again, like how she makes like complex things seem very simple, which is great for us when we do interviews, right?
Yep.
So what was your biggest takeaway from doing your interview with her?
I just, and her dad sort of mentioned it, but she was just so like humble about it all. Like she's like one of the top, if I'm getting this correctly, because we said that I don't quite know the gymnastics terms, but from what I understood, she was like number 7 out of this top 8 like elite team in the United States. And she was talking about going to the Olympics like it was actually possible, and it is, she's got to like make it on like the team again that year and stuff. But I just think she's so humble and she has such a great spirit about her that I hope, just because she was nice, I hope she goes far.
I love seeing her smile the entire time too. This just made a really fun story. Yeah. But what do you hope people take away from it?
I think sometimes I know myself, I'm like, I'm from South Dakota. South Dakota's small. Nothing too big happens here. Okay, well, we might have an Olympic gymnast here. So, even if you think it's too small or your dream's too far, it's 100% achievable if you put in the effort and the time.
Is there anything else you'd like viewers to know about creating the story or anything else after it's published?
I just think remember the name Gabrielle Hardy, because you might be seeing her in the Olympics in a couple of years.
And then you'll be like, I met her.
Exactly.
I knew everything about her.
I knew that one. I've seen that one before.
Summer, thank you so much for talking more about this story. And everyone stick around. Up next, we're looking at a recent Eye on KELOLAND story, a big stage in a small town. Stay with us. We'll have more on Inside the Newsroom after the break. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. In every city, big and small, amenities tend to come and go. But in the small town of Lake Benton, Minnesota, there's been one consistent form of entertainment for well over a century. In fact, Travis Fossing took a look at the Lake Benton Opera House in a recent Eye on KELOLAND story. Travis, welcome to the Digital Desk. I feel like you haven't been here with me in a long time.
It's been a little while, yeah.
I know, we're going to fix this. But I was really excited about this Eye on KELOLAND story, and we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But I want to start off by asking you a little context about Eye on KELOLAND stories. Okay. For our viewers who maybe don't know, what's the difference between an Eye on KELOLAND story versus something we just see every day on the newscasts?
Yeah, you're able to get more people involved, dedicate more time to the story, and really tell the whole story. I mean, this is a theater that dates back to the 1800s, so we got to dig back into that history a little bit and kind of go through the decades and more than a century with this story in particular. So that usually takes some time, and I think this one was almost 5 minutes long, if memory serves. So,
right.
We have a little more flexibility there. So.
You're right. Your story was about like 5 minutes long, and our typical stories are about what, like 1:30, 2
about
minutes,
a minute
something
and a
like
half,
that.
somewhere in that
and
ballpark.
So, with that time frame that you had, not only to create the story in a longer format, but also to edit it and have some time really spent into it, what kind of elements were you happy to feature the most because you were able to expand that time?
Well, and that's how you use the time is you're talking to more people. I talked to one person that kind of focused on the history of the theater, and another person that was a director of the current musical that's going on there, and one person that was an actor and why she enjoys being a part of the Opera House there in Lake Benton. So just a lot of different aspects that you're able to dive into when you have a little more time to use.
And you're right. You took that historic angle because of the legacy of that opera house, but then you did show like what's happening now, and it was almost like character driven with the people that you interviewed. And what kind of journey did you want the viewers to go through as they watch or read your story?
Well, I kind of started with just how old this place is. It dates back to the 1890s. They had a fire that burned the wood structure down to the ground. Well, then they rebuilt it a year later, brick by brick. But if you go under the theater, which we did, you can still see some of the charred timber that are still part of the building, which was pretty amazing. We didn't want to spend too much time down there. It's definitely an old 1800s feeling basement, but we wanted to go down there and check it out just to bring that part of the story to life. And once you got back to the main stage, it's just neat seeing they've got seats. The last row of the balcony dates back to the early 1900s. They did not replace that last row of seats, whereas they did replace the rest of the seats about 20 to 25 years ago. And with a theater like this, it was a fundraiser to get it, and that was part of the story. Is they sold each seat. You put a little nameplate on it, so they sold each seat for $100. David told us they didn't have the money to pay for the seats when they bought the seats, but by the time they had them installed and had the nameplates on there, they had the money to do the project.
That's so fascinating. You know, I feel like recently you've been doing a lot of stories about the arts. I know you're the sports guy, but you've been doing a lot of theater stories. So were you a theater kid?
You know, I was in a couple of plays my last couple of years in high school, South Pacific and Bye Bye Birdie. I did back in the day, my junior and senior years. And again, I was playing football and doing that at the same time. So I'd go to football practice my senior year, and then I went to play practice in the evening.
I love it. Define those stereotypes. You can do it all. Travis Fossing style.
I try my best.
Well, when you're doing stories like this, you know, you have a little bit of background of the arts and, of course, sports too, but specifically with the arts for this piece, what makes you so invested in covering stories that involve local arts communities across KELOLAND?
Well, I think it's fun just telling the stories of these people. Everybody's got a story out there, and when you're able to catch up with these people and something that they're passionate about, it really shines through most of the time in these stories. And you know, when you're able to go to a building, I didn't know exactly how this one was going to turn out with the Opera House, because I didn't know a lot about the history, but you start talking about people and why they got involved in the project or why they got involved in the theater, and it's just it's fun to tell these types of stories and just spread the word about these different organizations and people that you know, this is a theater that they go out and advertise it at parades during the summertime, and they've had people come up and say, "Oh, I didn't even realize there was still a theater in Lake Benton." Well,
wow.
You know, this is just another opportunity to give them a platform and hopefully send some people their way, and hopefully the next handful of nights they're going to have full houses there at the Opera House in Lake Benton because people know about it after seeing this story.
And Rent. What a show to do. Really, that's really exciting. Well, Travis, thank you so much for giving us all these details here at the Digital Desk. I appreciate your time. And everyone stick around. We're going to have more on Inside the Newsroom after the break. Welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. We're going to end on a fun note now. I have Scott Munt, and Summer Roddershot is returning to the Digital Desk because Scott...
Sorry, I didn't wait. I'm not waiting.
Scott informed me that some really fun stuff happened this morning. I shouldn't say fun stuff, but what is it? You guys call it the Talkables? Was this one of the Talkables?
Talk of the day.
Talk of the day.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
So every morning, about once every so about 4 times a morning, we have these Talkables. So it's fun stories. It is fun. Sorry. So there's sometimes some of the lighter stories that we do here at KELOLAND News. Like we already talked about my gymnastics story, but that was one of the stories that we talked about in the Talkables. So either some lighter-hearted stories around here or some fun national news that we say the story and then we just get to ad-lib. And you never know what's coming out of our mouths.
And I think that's exactly the case for this clip. I only saw just a little bit of what you guys talked about this morning, but I thought it'd be fun to watch it all together and maybe do a little reacting. So I'm going to go ahead and play the clip from this morning.
You can help add a splash of color to snowplows in Sioux Falls this coming weekend. The 16th annual Paint the Plow is scheduled from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on October 11th.
The event is normally held at the Levitt parking lot.
I was like, what is Scott going to say about this?
I haven't been saying much during our segment right here.
Okay. The event invites young artists in Sioux Falls to decorate the city's snowplows before winter.
Here's a look at some of the past designs seen on the plows. This year's winning plows will be displayed at the Parade of Lights on November 28th.
You know, I vote that Kello adopts a plow, and then we can let Scott figure out what
Scott's got his paintbrush ready to go.
I mean, be a picture of my face getting hit with a snowball. Boom. Bam.
People will love it.
I like it.
Never know.
Do you?
Yeah, and then we can name it
Maybe
the
this
Prediction Buster
winter
or
we can
something.
go out there and you can just go ahead and throw one at me.
Aw, really?
Boy, you sound all excited about it. That sounds like the best thing
Excitement. It's like a puppy just came into the studio.
I was really excited for some reason.
Oh.
Like the excitement to your face, you just became more chipper. Really?
What have I been doing wrong?
It was just like a gift or something.
My favorite part about this is how silent Travis is. Like, he just lets Summer kind of keep digging the grave.
Yeah, you seem excited about it.
All right. Well,
I love a good snowball fight.
I'll just let you get,
It's okay.
from a certain distance.
Yeah.
You might,
Right here and be a little too close.
that would hurt. You got to make sure it's all snow
And
and,
it has
I
to be a
don't put ice
snowball.
into
Can't
it.
be an
Yep.
ice ball.
Yep. Yeah. I'll have to have Travis.
Don't
What
sneak
am
a
I
rock
getting
in there
myself
either.
into?
Yeah, no ice, no rocks.
ice.
No.
No
Yeah.
anything else.
This was a funny talkable.
A white snowball.
I must say again, like
White.
Travis being silent and just letting you two just go at it. Loved it. Loved it.
So
This
the
is what I'm
question
here for.
is that going to happen?
the snowball fight?
No, it's not a fight.
Nope.
It's
No,
somebody
it's
said-
Summer throwing a snowball at Scott.
we have to figure out
without ice.
we have to figure out a distance though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how far
safe
apart?
distance.
Well, Summer, it sounded
We have
like you can
time.
throw. You could really throw. You were pretty worried about the distance.
I mean, I throw around the football sometimes.
Kid, kid.
And
Scott,
is my
you can
back
pitch.
to you or am I facing you?
Well, no, remember, because you said the picture is going to be your face getting hit by a snowball. So, like, that's what we're reenacting. And then we'll just have to have, like, a photographer out there to, like, capture the exact moment. And that's what's going to go on the snowplow.
Yeah, the logistics are very important
Wow.
here. This is a lot of fun. And how many times do you guys do tacables in the morning?
We have 4 tacables. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
4?
Depending on the day, sometimes there's a lot of weather going on.
Yeah.
We may drop a topical or two. Or, if there's a lot of news going on,
Yeah.
we may have to drop a couple topicals as well.
Yeah. But because the morning show is so long, you got to keep in mind this is 2.5 hours of news every morning. And so sometimes if there is that extra time, it's sort of more fun to fill it with that way. And I think it also helps you see, like, oh, that we're also people. We also have personalities. Like,
Exactly.
He's telling you the weather every morning and I'm telling you the news, but it's also like, oh, we like to have fun. So
Yeah, we can actually
We're
interact.
actually people.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's a lot of fun to watch. I love watching clips like this. Good job in the morning, crew. You got this.
Oh,
Good
thanks.
job.
Thank
Big
you,
thumbs
thank
up.
you.
Scott, thank you for letting me know about this clip so I can always reference back to it when I need a good laugh.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens when we finally get some snow in here.
Oh, boy.
Hopefully soon.
Got to stay
Yeah,
positive.
right.
We're staying positive about this. All right, we're wrapping up Inside the Newsroom, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a great day, everyone. Bye.